The Go Nuclear late models have taken to the fast CanAm Speedway for hot laps, a track where the 57 of Charlie Sandercock has dominated this season. The oval where Phil Potts, the Tour's most recent winner, scored his first road win. The half mile that Dale Caswell won at 7 times back in 2012. And the site of hometown hero Billy Eisley's breakthrough victory in a fast Go Nuclear feature last year. Who will stake their mark tonight? Find out next on the Atomic Power Racing Hour. Hello and welcome to the Go Nuclear Late Model Series. We are here at CanAm Motorsports Park in Lafargeville, New York. Watertown is 20 minutes to our south. The Canadian border is 10 miles to the north, so we're smack dab here in the middle of the North Country. Doug Elkins along with Rich Fleck, race number 4 here, and really it's mid-July. It's summertime, normally a lot of racing going on, but kind of a low period for the series.
Low period for the series. These drivers are running maybe every Friday here at CanAm or Saturday night at their local facility. So they've been busy, but it's a little bit different when it's tour drivers coming in from all over. There are so many guys here today that have never run this racetrack before. They went out on the speedway for hot laps and went, whoa, that was not what I was expecting. Remember last time we ran at a track that was about half this size, so it'll be wild to see here tonight.
Big, fast half mile, and Rich, this track has built up quite a reputation over the years.
They call it the nasty track of the north for a reason, don't they? Last year it was pretty tame for our tour event. I don't know if it will be here tonight.
And Paul Small, the third member of our team, is out on the track right now. He worked here for a lot of years, so he knows a lot about it. Let's check in with Paul.
Thanks, guys. For the last 2 rounds of the Go Nuclear Late Model Series, we've contested events on short tracks that are pretty much bull rings. Tonight, we open things up big time here at the nasty track of the north at CanAm. This is a big, fast, wide, full-sized half-mile clay surface. Now, for the Go Nuclear Late Model Series competitors, tonight's going to be kind of like running a restrictor plate race on a super speedway in NASCAR. These crate motors don't have a lot of torque. Most of the horsepower is in the top end. So the key tonight is going to be keeping your momentum around this half mile, because anytime you need to check up or get too far sideways, it's going to take you a long time to get back to full speed.
Thanks, Paul. Like we told you, it's race number 4 of 9 on the Go Nuclear Late Model Series. So really with 5 races to go, kind of a chance to take a look and see how tight things are, and tight is the right word.
It sure is. Charlie Sandercock leads the points, not just at the Go Nuclear Late Models, but here at CanAm and at his hometown Brighton Speedway. But guys like defending champion Dale Caswell, who ran away with the points the last 2 years, is right there on his bumper. So are the Waters brothers, John and Dustin. They've been very close, and there's a host of others that know that a lot can change here tonight with 33 cars.
And 5 races to go even after tonight, so still, it's not panic time yet, but boy, you certainly do want a strong run. And when we talk about tight finishes, I guess we really could be tough to top Cornwall.
Cornwall Motor Speedway had the closest finish ever in series history, and for a lot of fans and drivers alike, the closest finish they ever saw.
Let's take a look back and see how tight it was at Cornwall Motor Speedway, race number 3 of the Go Nuclear Late Model Speedway in Ontario, Canada. Got a little high that time coming out of turn number 2, but got a good run. Remember, it's a little tackier on the outside part of the speedway. They're hitting 3 and 4. They'll see the white flag this time.
And he pushes up over the berm, and Turner will drive away with the white flag out. Phil Potts knew he had to hang it all on the edge with the cautions out.
Here they go down the backstretch for the final time.
And up on the top, Potts sticks it in there. Turner through the middle, off the corner, back at the line. Potts gets it.
With Phil Potts, who got his first Go Nuclear Late Model Series win in our most recent contest at Cornwall, you did that in pretty grand style, I'd have to say.
Yeah, that was, as an interview there, I was probably better luck than management at the very end, but my guys gave me a real good car that day, and when we dropped the green, I thought we had something. I never believed we had a first place car, but I thought we had I thought we had a top 5 car. Track was real good, car was good, and heck, luck played in. Caution saved my butt, because Turner had a 1 if it wasn't for the caution, because I blew that last corner the lap before.
And of course, last year at this race, you finished 3rd, so you got to feel good carrying some momentum in.
Yeah, that's what we were running good here last Friday night and we blew up. So that's what I feel good coming into tonight. I hope it works out well for us. But yeah, I do feel good coming into tonight.
A little bit of a jingle during hot laps. Any issues with that, or?
No, I don't think so. We'll look up, pound some dents, have a look around, but I think she's fine.
All right, Phil Potts looking to go 2 for 2 tonight here at the SUNY Canton CanAm SummerSlam. More of the Atomic Power Racing Hour when we come back.
If you care about quality, service, or pride of ownership, it's time to call Tenachi AV. Tenachi AV provides music and theater systems for the home that defy expectations and are a clear cut above those found in the mass market stores, including handcrafted opera loudspeakers, Unison research amplification from Italy, Integra home theater, and many more. Discover the difference at tenachiav.com or visit us on Facebook.
If you want to get closer to the racing action, your chance is coming. It's the first ever Atomic Triple Crown, bringing late model sprints and sportsmen together. September 27th at Rolling Wheels Raceway. The Go Nuclear late models compete on the fast track for the first time ever, gunning for the $2,000 top prize, along with super tight sportsman action. And the Empire Super Sprints will crown their 2014 series champion. Late models, sprints, and sportsmen, all together for one night this fall. See you at Rolling Wheels. The Go Nuclear Late Model Challenge Series is presented by Excel Tower Service, Atomic Chassis, Humber Nurseries, Gandrud Chevrolet, Grills and Ovens, Insinger Performance, Kaiser Wheels, Schaefer's Oil, BA Custom Headers, Finish Line Web Design, and Tenace Diversified.
Welcome back here to CanAm Motorsports Park, just south of the Canadian border in Lafargeville, New York, as we've got a big field of cars on hand today. Rich, how's it going to work? How do we set things up?
Well, with 33 cars in the pits, they have to run 4 qualifying heats, each 8 laps in distance. The normal night would see a certain number of cars qualify to the feature. They're all starting the main tonight, so the key, get into the top 2 for the redraw.
Yeah, normally there's a consolation event. There's a limit on the number of guys that can start, but tonight we're going to start them all. Shane Tenace right there on the front row.
Yeah, he got the lucky pull of the pill. Kind of random redraw when they come in to see where they're going to start. Some of the drivers in the back, Greg Bellier and the 46 of Sean Beardsley, they've got good experience in these cars. They're going to have to work their way from the back of the field. 8 laps the distance as it is at any Go Nuclear late model series event. The difference is this is a big racetrack. You got a little bit more time to get to the front.
Big flat half mile, and we are ready to go as the green flag waves here in the first of 4 qualifying heat races.
AJ Kingsley on the outside of the racetrack takes the lead away. Kingsley, a driver that last year won the season opener here at the Nasty Track in the North.
Yeah, and of course he likes this big track up here at CanAm. Ran here several times. This at Fulton Speedway. Oh, a little smoke there I see off the number 11 on the top side of the speedway.
Yeah, Jordan Peters with a touch of smoke in that red car. He's on the outside. Shane Tenace in the 98 down on the bottom. And again, second place. The only 2 drivers will go into the redraw. So this is a critical position that John Waters, who is just behind, is following.
Yeah, and he's back in position number 4, and you can see on the outside there, that's Jordan Peters up to the 2 spot. And here goes Waters trying to find some room underneath. Shane Tenace loved that in-car shot to see how close they really get.
Waters, in his first year of crate late model competition, has done a great job, including a tour win at Humberstone, but he gets sideways and will come around in turn number 1 and 2.
All by himself, and the field goes by. No yellow out just yet, and now the yellow does come out, but Waters goes around on his own in turn number 2.
See, working to fire the car back up from inside our Insinger Performance onboard camera, but rare to see for a driver with this much talent from the southern tier of New York. Looks like he just stabbed the brakes in additional time.
Yeah, kind of pushed on him right there, and I think maybe, like you said, maybe he stabbed the brakes to try to get the back to come around. And, these do have bias adjusters in them. Maybe a little too much rear brake in the car rather than front was enough to take it around. But now, instead of the view just seeing the top 3, he has 7 cars in front of him now.
This will be a double file restart, not the Delaware double file that we'll see later on tonight in our feature event. So that moves Jordan Peters up to the front row. You got AJ Kingsley still the race leader. Right behind him, closing in quickly, is Sean Beardsley in the 46. Remember, he started back at position number 8. We're not even to halfway yet as we get back to green.
Beardsley, nice move off the start. Just follows Kingsley to the top. Now he'll take a look low as Waters watches back behind this whole thing.
So Sean Beardsley up in position number 2, driving a 602 power GM crate motor. And Doug, that's one of the variables that these drivers have, and he's one of the few guys tonight utilizing that a supposedly underpowered or under-horsepowered engine option.
Yeah, the one other option is the 604 that has the aluminum heads, the old ZZ4 motor. It's about 50 more horsepower as we watch the battle for the number 4 spot here. And there goes Peters up the racetrack. Does he have a problem?
Not sure. Maybe just couldn't find the bike. This is the first time I can remember Jordan Peters running here at CanAm. Greg Bellier, though, knows the track a little bit better. He's a driver that won here 3 times back in 2011, won 2 times last year here, always runs well at this speedway. He's up to 3rd after starting in 7th, but no passing points given for that. He would start the feature in 9th if he can not get one more spot.
3 more laps to go as things string out a little bit more here. There's your second place car, Beardsley. There's Bellier, and there is the Peters number 11. 5th place is now at stake here. Shane Tenace, who started on the pole, had the position, and look who's making his way back up.
Well, this is the battle we saw when the caution came out a moment ago. John Waters up 2 spots since his spin out and trying to get back into the mix. Down to the bottom of the racetrack, battle on for 2nd, coming to the white flag. Bellier closing in on Beardsley, but it's all A.J. Kingsley out in front of the field right now. He has 3 wins at his hometown Fulton Speedway this year, where he runs weekly on Saturday nights. Has not made many trips up here. I don't think he's been to the CanAm Speedway yet this year, but I guess it's old hat for the 9K as he works off at turn number 4.
The former Sportsman racer will get the win. He will win qualifying heat race number 1. Sean Beardsley holds on for 2nd, Bellier in 3rd, and Peters ends up in the final qualifying spot. Nice job by John Waters just to get back up to 5th from the back.
So A.J. Kingsley scores a qualifying heat race win. We've seen him do that in prior races this year as they roll heat race number 2 out onto the speedway.
So heat 1 is in the book. We had a chance to catch up with Charlie Sandercock before the race. He had a chance to sit down and chat with our Paul Small.
There's an old country song by Jerry Reed that goes, "When you're hot, you're hot." Charlie Sandercock, 5 wins at Brighton, 3 out of the last 4 at Can-Am. Guess what? You're hot.
I guess we can say lucky, I guess, on that one. We've just been able to avoid any wrecks, any trouble, and nice to keep the ball rolling and come into tonight and hopefully come out on top.
A lot of people are looking at you as being the odds-on favorite to win tonight.
Oh yeah, we've been running well here and at Brighton, so our ball's rolling. So hopefully we just keep the ball rolling and bring the thing home in one piece. That's our main goal, is to stay out of trouble and bring it home in one piece.
Yeah, never get cocky, Rich, when you're a race car driver, because so many things can happen out there. Sure, you might be the guy everybody's looking at, but that doesn't mean you're going to win the race.
And, in Charlie's situation, he may have that confidence within himself,
right,
but I think in terms of showing it and getting somebody a little riled up, if they saw this later. So Brett Belden on the front row along with Dustin Waters. Belden came up here and effectively tested for this race last Friday night. Well, Dustin Waters is here for the first time, and he will lead the field on the outside of the racetrack into turn number 1.
Yeah, and Belden, I know he ran this track back in the old Mr. Dirt Pro Stock days many years ago as we ride along with Charlie Sandercock as he sorts things out on the back straightaway. But out in front right now, a little bit of a surprise.
Yeah, Dustin Waters out in front. I mean, he's going to be good at any racetrack he goes to. But here comes Charlie Sandercock. That 57 just got by the 77 of Kelly Weiss up into 5th. And now going to the outside of Dale Caswell as the 14 comes around. Waters spin, so 2nd race in a row, and I believe they're going to tell him to keep going. Still green flag racing, so the 2nd race in a row where one of the Waters brothers comes around. Belden leads off at turn number 4.
Boy, look at that outside shot. You can see Sandercock right out there next to the wall. Almost 3 wide for a moment. And one guy we haven't mentioned here is Harry Halliday. He's in that blue car down on the bottom, the blue and yellow. I think this is only like his second time out this year.
I know he ran at least one other race because I saw a picture of it, but this is his first tour race of the year, so it's a different deal. He's down on the inside battling with Sandercock for 2nd, and right behind Harry Halliday would be his team car, in effect, the 88 of Dale Caswell.
Yeah, and I believe Caswell is his nephew. And then we'll see what happens as we watch this really good battle out in front. Brett Belden likes the bottom of the racetrack, tends to run that line everywhere he goes. Sandercock, though, I think he might have a better line off of 4, and there he goes.
And Sandercock takes the lead away. We spoke about it earlier. 5 starts here this season, 3 of them ending up with a victory. He's the points leader at his Brighton Speedway Saturday night track, here at Can-Am on Friday night, and on the Go Nuclear Late Model Tour. He couldn't be having any better of a 2014, and he's starting to pull away. But the battle on for 2nd, remember, that is a critical spot to get into the redraw. Belden has it, Halliday and Caswell just on the outside looking in.
And Caswell has to go to the high side. We, of course, know that he likes the bottom side as as well. But Harry Halliday's got that lane all jammed up right now. Now Caswell goes to the outside here. Let's see if he cuts right back to the bottom if he gets a chance here. But the top four putting on a good show here.
A great show, and just shows you what Halliday can do out of the box here early in his season. And Dale Caswell's had an okay year, but no wins thus far in 2014 for a driver that won 7 races here at CanAm in 2012 and scored the track championship.
Yeah, when you think of his best tracks here in Fulton are the two that jump right out at you. But again, impressed with Harry Halliday as we have to zoom out a ways to find our race leader, and he is now on his last lap down in turn 1.
Well, Charlie Sandercock won his heat race at the Cornwall Motor Speedway in our last tour event, and won a heat race at the Utica Rome Speedway. He knows how to get himself up to the front, even in the short 8-lap qualifiers, comes from the 6th starting position, benefits from that spin, and takes home the heat race number 2 win.
And did it on the outside to Belden, Caswell, Halliday. There are your qualifiers. There are the rest of the finishers as they come across the line. So we have 2 of our 4 qualifying heat races in the book. We'll have 2 more, and of course the exciting feature when we come back at the Go Nuclear Late Model Series. Welcome back to the Atomic Power Racing Hour here in Lafargeville, just south of the Canadian border. While we were away, this is what we saw in qualifying heat race number 3.
Well, we saw a mess in turn number 3. Jason Knowles got around, collected Tim Murphy in the 515, the 9 of Doug Gavette. So a lot of carnage coming through this qualifier. On the restart, great battle up in the front of the pack. Bryce Davis out of Canisteo, that's down in the southern tier of New York. Here for the first time, takes the lead away. And then a couple of drivers that have done well here in the past, Phil Potts and Alan Fink, the 2nd and 3rd place finishers of this Go Nuclear race last season here at CanAm, would be in those spots once again.
And of course, Phil Potts knows this track well. Alan Fink, well, you can see him driving one of about 3 or 4 different types of race cars on any weekend. But here you're thinking Bryce Davis is going to pull away, but it's not that easy,
well,
is it?
You see the momentum of the yellow, black, and red 29 of Phil Potts able to get up on the top of the racetrack. Potts, a driver that won here just before he won his Go Nuclear race a month ago, his first ever win away from his hometown Brighton Speedway. He's 2nd in points coming into tonight. Alan Fink, though, look at him down on the bottom of the racetrack, really sail it in there. A guy that led halfway through that race last season, only to lose it to Billy Eisley. Put a good effort in down on the bottom of the racetrack.
And watch how close they get right here out of turn number 4. That's good racing right there.
And that's a nice job by Davis to stay in the throttle and work his way off. With the race lead, he would start to pull away, and he would hang on the final circuit to pick up the win.
But before we go to our final qualifying heat race, our Paul Small had a chance to chat with last year's winner of this event.
Billy Eisley won 4 events at CanAm Motorsports Park here last year, but this year hasn't been quite so kind to you.
No, it hasn't. We've kind of been in a slump this year, and looking forward to tonight and get going forward again.
And last year, this race helped really build some momentum for you, not only in some of the series races you chased, but here at the home track.
Yeah, that's for sure. We really didn't know what to expect, and before I knew it, we were driving to the front, and then we kind of drove off and left everybody, which is very rare in these races. So, yeah, and that was my first win in a late model, too, so that was really special.
Now we ride with Billy Eisley as he will be starting at the back of this final qualifying heat. But Rich, he's a veteran of CanAm. He's raced up here in the sportsman and a modified division, driven a lot of stuff, and so is his whole family.
Yeah, and that race, as he spoke about last year, pulled away from the field for his first career late model win. That was a real shocker, but it would be a surprise to see him do that again tonight. Not in terms of what he is capable of, but what the field that has come in here tonight. That show last year had 16 cars. Tonight we have more than double that. It's a very different racing circumstances that are in front of us. Adam Turner, he was there last year, and he's out in front as he leads into turn number 1.
He knows this track pretty well. On the outside, there's Brian Knowles, and Knowles will take the lead as things get jammed up a little bit there on the bottom.
And on the outside of the racetrack, Corey Earl making his way through. Earl has been here before, but it's been a number of years since the former Brighton Speedway champion has been around this big half-mile racetrack. He's up into second.
And he had 9 wins, by the way, last year at Brighton, so a threat to win at any track. And watching young Brandon Ford there in the number 76 as he sits right there in position number 4, and McEwen's right on him in the number 97.
Yeah, Zeke McEwen's been doing a nice job in that David McDonald-owned number 97 out of the Brighton, Ontario area, and has run only a limited number of starts as another Brighton regular. Corey Earl takes the race lead away. Earl had committed at the end of last season to run this Go Nuclear Tour for the entire year, got into the series, and has really had a tough time finding the results. Didn't qualify in the 2 events he attempted, so this is probably a relief as it sits right now as he hangs on to the race lead. Brian Knowles, the second and final spot right now for the redraw.
And if anything, he's pulling away a little bit right now as we watch this battle. There was some smoke that time from Turner's car, and these don't run oil coolers or anything like that, so that smoke's coming from probably underneath the hood, these crate engines. Sometimes things go wrong, and there's McEwen tries to get to the inside of Brandon Ford for 3rd position.
And remember, last race on the tour, it was Adam Turner, as we showed at the beginning of the episode, that was 1/100th of a second away from getting his first tour win, but that was with his good engine. This is a backup one after blowing his primary one up last week, so maybe a little down on the horsepower and able to drive by is the 76 of Brandon Ford. And now Ford wants second away from Brian Knowles, and it looks like he's got it down the front stretch.
Nice job by Brandon Ford. He and his dad Scott race late models together at the Fulton Speedway on a weekly basis, so he got it a little bit loose that time, and that'll give Knowles another chance to get up next to him.
Brandon still does some sportsman action as well as Zeke McEwen in the 97 getting into the mix. And there's Billy Eisley up to the 6th spot trying to go after Adam Turner. But boy, this racetrack very even right now. It's very difficult to pass. And with these crate-powered machines, if you get a little bit off the throttle, it can really string out the field. And that's why here on the final lap, you see Corey Earl way out in front as the battle for second rages on into turn number 3.
And Ford with a little better line into the corner that time. Knowles is up to the high side. Look at McEwen sneak in there. He'll pick up position number 3, but across the line, nice job by Corey Earl as he gets the win.
Second across the line is Brandon Ford, and all the way back in that finishing order is the 7 of Brian Knowles. A tough break for him on that one.
Well, we're always trying to teach you more about these cars. Let's check in with our Paul Small for our Tech Minute.
The crane motor may be the muscle in a Go Nuclear late model, but muscles need a brain and a nervous system to function properly and tell them what to do. That's what this little red box is. It's an MSD ignition box. And like any other form of motorsport, there are people who have found ways to cheat MSD boxes. So in the interest of keeping a level playing field, the Go Nuclear late model series has actually purchased some MSD ignition boxes. They're going to be randomly swapping boxes out with drivers during the course of the year, where when the driver comes to the racetrack, they'll take out their box and swap it for one of the series-owned boxes.
The series isn't making Rick Miller swap MSD boxes. He is doing it on his own, hoping that will solve the gremlins that plagued him in Heat Race 1. More from CanAm Speedway right after this. Welcome back to CanAm Motorsports Park here in Lafargeville. Doug Elkins along with Rich Fleck here. You had 33 cars tried to qualify for the qualifying heats. Rich, that was some darn good action.
Well, they knew they had to get to the front. With everybody starting tonight, you don't want to be in the back of the pack. They knew it was their chances to get forward, but the track's very even right now. With crate late models, it's tough to move forward. We talked about that, and you see these guys, they're having some trouble getting to the front.
And unlike a lot of races, no B main. Everybody's going to start tonight.
Everybody's in, and yeah, that's going to be very interesting in a 30-lap feature on a big, fast, nasty track of the North.
We had a chance to check in with the heat winners. Let's see what they had to say about the races that they won earlier today.
We had a good draw. We started outside pole, and from right there, the car was great, so didn't really look back. We had a caution, and I saw Sean get underneath me going into one, but I knew that if I had that high line that I was going to come out with it, so we had a good run.
Lucky there was a spin in front of us. We were just able to avoid that and come out of there with no damage. And then we got to the top side, and the car seemed to work good up there, so we stuck it up there, and I'm coming home with a heat win.
We lowered the race side rods a little bit to get a little more right rear bite because track's going to slick off. So we need to maintain that traction.
It's been about 4 years since we've been to CanAm, so it was kind of unexpected, but the car was just on rails, came through the first corner, right through the middle, and then after that it was kind of cruise control on the bottom. Didn't see any noses, and that's always a good thing.
Normally, this is where the B main would be, with the drivers who did not qualify from the qualifying heats would get their chance to get in the show, but everybody's getting in tonight, Rich.
Everybody's in, so the important thing is get out in front of everyone. It's like that Daytona Talladega deal. You don't want to be in the middle of the hornet's nest. And a couple lucky drivers were able to redraw for their starting spot up front.
The driver who drew number 1 is down right now with our Paul Small.
There are a lot of guys that are jealous of this man here, Sean Beardsley, right now, because, Sean, you drew the most important number in the redraw, 1.
Yeah, that never happens for me either. So this is a good deal, and position here is going to be crucial. You know, if we don't have a lot of cautions, that front row gets out with a lot of traffic on the track, gets out and it's gone. You know, and then you got to play catch up all night. So this is really going to help me out.
Some of the drivers are expecting the track to lock down. Are you in that camp?
Oh yeah, I think the track's real good. I mean, my car's been tight all night. So I'm pretty well locked down anyways. I couldn't spin out if I wanted to. I really wanted to loosen it up a little bit. But I think the track's going to come around and work in my favor.
So Sean Beardsley is going to be the jackrabbit chased by a bunch of greyhounds when we go green in the feature.
Electricity. You flip a switch, the lights go on. But will we have safe supplies of electricity to meet our fast-growing needs? Today, nuclear energy provides 1/5 of America's electricity. Tomorrow, it could supply even more. And nuclear power plants don't emit greenhouse gases, so they preserve our environment. We need to reduce our dependence on foreign energy. And we also need clean air. With nuclear energy, we can do both. Nuclear, putting clean air energy to work.
Planning a trip to Victory Lane? Let Atomic Chassis get you there. Atomic Chassis are built with a high attention to detail using superior parts from trusted manufacturers such as PPM, Winters, Bernheisel, Bilstein, All-Star Performance, Vulcan, and many more. With superior craftsmanship and materials, you know Atomic will last. And since each customer becomes a part of our family, you aren't treated like just another number. So visit AtomicChassis.com today to plan your next trip to Victory Lane.
If you're enjoying these late models on the Atomic Power Racing Hour, you need to be there in person. The Go Nuclear Late Model Challenge Series is coming to a track near you with all the dirt-flinging, side-by-side racing, and bumper-to-bumper action that you can handle. Come see the cars and stars of the Atomic Power Racing Hour as they battle for bragging rights. The series is coming to a track near you, so don't miss out on your best opportunity to experience what all the hype's about. Catch the series at Brighton Speedway for the Great Crate Race.
It's time for the 30-lap Go Nuclear late model feature here at the CanAm Speedway, where a record 32 cars are rolling onto the track. For more, let's go back down to Paul, who gave us a track preview a moment ago.
Guys, the track here tonight at CanAm has come up wide and smooth, but some of the drivers in the pit area are talking about the surface locking down. Now, what does that mean? Well, take a look at this part of the racetrack here. This has been the fast racing lane. It's getting hard, it's taking a little rubber, and it may slick off during the night. Now, if that happens in the corners, the outside groove's not going to come in, and it's going to be pretty much one line. But here on the straightaways, if you look down here on the inside of the racetrack, there's plenty of tack and plenty of bite. It's going to be how you adjust your car into changing track conditions that's going to determine if you can make it to the first spot in tonight's feature.
Yeah, Rich, as the cars light up 4Y here and we get ready for the start, this is one of the things they're looking at right now. But, of course, we can only know so much at this point. We're just going to have to wait and see how the track works out and where they go.
That's probably the biggest four-wide salute that I've seen in anticipation for a race, especially with the Go Nuclear Late Model Tour. As we said, they're starting 32 cars tonight as Tim Murphy's unable to start. There was half that number in the field last year, 16. Yeah. So this is a much bigger situation, even 5 more laps, 30 laps than last year's race. And we're not counting caution laps. The restarts, as we did not see in the heat races, they will be double file of the Delaware format here for this restart. So it'll be interesting to see those drivers in the middle of the pack, how tentative they are in the opening circuits. But, you know, Sean Beardsley and Brandon Ford in the front, they're not going to hold back at all.
No, and Beardsley, like we said, he was the benefactor of that draw on the front stretch, so he will start on the pole position. And also different from last year, with the more cars in the racetrack, you're going to hit that traffic at the back a little sooner. Things are going to be a lot busier out there on the racetrack than what we saw here last year.
And here at CanAm, it will take a while to get around to the back of the field. You see some of those names starting towards the back end, and you see row 11, Mike Trapp and Kelly Weiss. There's still 10 cars behind them, and one of them included, as we saw going to break a little while ago, the 33X of Rick Miller with the electrical issues and changing out MSD boxes. He's coming all the way back from the 32nd position. Hard to believe, there's a driver that came in second in points with the series last year. He's got a ways to work up to the front. How hard is he going to push it here in the opening laps? Couple of onboards. They're all set. Green off of turn number 4.
Wow, look at the start that Beardsley gets. He is shot out of a cannon on the inside as he'll lead the field down into turn number 1.
With that 602 crate engine underneath the hood of the 46. He's out into the race lead. Dale Caswell looking to the inside of Corey Earl, back about 9th, 10th place. Charlie Sandercock side by side with Brett Belden as they rumble through 3 and 4.
3 wide almost for the number 2 spot as we look out the back of Charlie Sandercock's Instinct and Performance car. And now look at Dale Caswell making his way through action all over the racetrack here at CanAm.
And that doesn't even show you what's going on just a little bit further back from that. A 3 wide battle, but the yellow flag is out. We've got a car around in turn number 4. It is the 4 of Jason Knowles, who has spun, and we're under caution with 1 lap complete.
He and his brother Brian started in row number 12, which for them is pretty far back for a couple experienced guys. We saw them running up towards the front up there at Cornwall last week, and let's see I can't tell if there was some contact there or not.
Hard to tell. I'm not even sure if there was contact with the implement tire down on the bottom. Yep, he got it. Yep, just a little bit of the powdered donut. So issue for Knowles, and he'll go to the back of the field as we will go to a Delaware double file restart. And when we go back, you'll notice our graphic right now with the blinking green or yellow light, and it's also got underneath it the lap sponsors that were put together for this race by the Go Nuclear Late Model Series. So you'll see the fans, if you will, or the race teams that are sponsoring each respective lap.
Nice of them to do that. And you see that right underneath there, right there, as we're back to green here on lap number 2. 3 wide there at mid-pack is Dale Caswell. Well, he's a little more comfortable now. He's down on the bottom.
And how about 3 wide? Caswell down in his familiar zone, side by side with Alan Fink for the 8th position. Meanwhile, up front, also on the bottom, here comes Charlie Sandercock to the inside of the 46 of Sean Beardsley for the race lead.
Well, we talked about Sandercock. This is his racetrack. He's down on the inside. You see Beardsley pushed up a little bit, but Beardsley got a better run now on the outside in the 46.
And Beardsley with that momentum up on the top groove. You'll usually see that. They go in turn number 3 and 4, and Beardsley pushes like a dump truck. Up the racetrack he goes, kills his momentum, and the 57 of Sandercock is now established in the race lead.
Well, of course, Beardsley, he knows these cars well. He ran with the World of Outlaw Late Model Series for a summer, traveled all across the country, did sportsman and modifieds back in the 90s. But Charlie Sandercock, he is looking like a man on a mission right now as he is out front and cruising.
Sandercock, a driver that did win the season opener at the Utica Speedway, but that was by default after a disqualification. He also won a tool race last year at the Brockville Speedway in someone else's car that he borrowed that night. So he's never wanted his own car, and I spoke with him earlier. He said that would be a big incentive for him to win this evening.
And we can see here Caswell trying to work his way underneath the McEwen number 97 as they're battling just inside the top 10. Right behind them, Alan Fink in the number 28. And you can see what Caswell's going to do. He'll go out here on the front stretch and then try to charge it low and get underneath, but McEwen's just not giving him any room to do it.
No, McEwen's been doing a great job. He ran at the Cornwall Motor Speedway, had a top 10 run, had some early issues, but got it back together. But here at CanAm has really been on a rail since the heat races were run down on the bottom of the speedway, and boy, he's going to make life miserable for Caswell if Caswell's preferred groove is taken away.
Yeah, and sometimes what these guys will do, depending on the gears they run, they may set the car up to run the bottom or the top, and if you've got gearing for the bottom and you try to go to the outside, you're just not going to make it work no matter how much you try. Good battle here for 4th spot. The youngster Brandon Ford just graduated high school a couple of months ago, trying to hold off Corey Earl, who's having maybe his best run on the series this year.
Yeah, best run on the series. He does have a win at his hometown Brighton Speedway, but remember, he tied Charlie Sandercock for the championship there last year, so even on that end, kind of a subpar 2014 for the driver that won the final race of last season at the Brockville Speedway.
Looks a little lonely out there where Dale Caswell is right now, and he may lose a spot here. Alan Fink also likes the bottom. He's sneaking in, but just in front of them, Corey Earl has gotten around the 76 of Brandon Ford.
So the 11 of Corey Earl continues to climb his way forward. Winner of heat race number 4 started back in 8th. He's up 4 spots here in the opening circuits.
watching a little further up, and we talked about this a little while ago. You get a lot of cars on a racetrack, you're going to catch them. And here we are at the third way mark, and Sandercock's got some folks in front of him.
Terry Hunt down on the bottom, driver out of Carrying Place, Ontario. And right in front of that, the 16 of Aaron Jacobs, who Doug has run just about everything out of the Utica area. He's up the speedway, though, right now, and Sandercock is going to have to pinch it down a little bit to avoid.
Yeah, he had 3 different race cars. We're talking about Jacobs and Sandercock. Goes right through the middle. IMCA, he's got one of these, and of course a modified as well. But Sandercock, well, that was a perfect move. I wonder if he kind of squeezed himself together when he went through there.
Closed his eyes and found his way to the other side. Now down at the bottom of Mark Rayner, a driver that has run at Brighton Speedway on a weekly basis this year and done quite a nice job in his limited starts. Battle on for the number 2 spot. AJ Kingsley, winner of heat race number 1, chasing after the guy that finished right behind him in that qualifier.
And these are 2 guys that know each other very well. They've got a lot of laps on Saturday nights out there at Fulton. Beardsley holding off Kingsley. Remember, Kingsley won his heat race earlier. Where's our leader? Oh, he's got a mess of cars in front of him now. Kaylee Weiss on the bottom, Shane Tenace on the high side. Where do you go, right?
Yeah, Brian Knowles also right there. You got the 64 machine of Alan Chapman. So still a lot of lap traffic to work through, or a caution's going to come out and get that out of the way, but then he's got everybody closing up behind him. So one way or another, there will be an equalizing factor. Sandercock probably has a good feel that his car is dominant right now, but Tenace a little squirrely in front of him, trying to get around some cars for position as well.
Kingsley has moved by for now for second place, but this is heading into some traffic, so a lot could change here as Beardsley charges right back on the outside. Boy, he is getting some good runs on the outside in turn 2.
You know, not many people would expect that on the top of turn number 2, that would be where some grip is being found, and now he works through the middle off of turn number 4 underneath Aaron Jacobs in the 16. And it looks like he will reestablish himself in the runner-up position.
Well, it's kind of like Paul Small talked about. He showed us that line on the front stretch where the bottom hadn't been used as much, but down in turn 2, they've been pretty much on the low side. So I guess he's finding some bite up there. And look at him pull away now.
And now gets by Terry Hunt. Meanwhile, the leader has been able to clear by the 98 of Tenace, just past halfway, working lap number 16 for the number 57 of Charlie Sandercock. And as we said, point leader in all 3 championship battles that he is chasing after, as he goes up behind the 12 of Kyle Sopaz and tries to put him a lap down.
First time we've called Kyle Sopaz's name today, as a lot of cars here that don't normally follow the series, and it's making it tough for some of the guys who do follow, like Kyle, to get those up front spots.
Exactly. Kyle's had a good start to the year, but momentum is so critical with these race cars. Track positioning, we spoke about it earlier, where the leader really has the advantage of pulling away, and we're seeing it right now as the yellow flag is out. Looks like Adam Turner with an issue in turn number 3.
That was a car we saw smoking earlier in the night. He'll take it to the pits. We'll realign the field and get back to racing. We come back. We're watching the Atomic Power Racing Hour.
If you care about quality, service, or pride of ownership, it's time to call Tenachi AV. Tenachi AV provides music and theater systems for the home that defy expectations and are a clear cut above those found in the mass market stores, including handcrafted opera loudspeakers, Unison research amplification from Italy, Integra home theater, and many more. Discover the difference at TenachiAV.com or visit us on Facebook.
If you're enjoying these late models on the Atomic Power Racing Hour, you need to be there in person. The Go Nuclear Late Model Challenge Series is coming to a track near you with all the dirt-flinging, side-by-side racing, and bumper-to-bumper action that you can handle. Come see the cars and stars of the Atomic Power Racing Hour as they battle for bragging rights. The series is coming to a track near you, so don't miss out on your best opportunity to experience what all the hype's about. Catch the series in Mohawk for the Richard Tenace Memorial.
Electricity. You flip a switch, the lights go on. But will we have safe supplies of electricity to meet our fast-growing needs? Today, nuclear energy provides 1/5 of America's electricity. Tomorrow, it could supply even more. And nuclear power plants don't emit greenhouse gases, so they preserve our environment. We need to reduce our dependence on foreign energy. And we also need clean air. With nuclear energy, we can do both. Nuclear, putting clean air energy to work.
Welcome back to the Atomic Power Racing Hour, just south of the U.S.-Canadian border in Lafargeville, New York, about 20 minutes north of Watertown. We're just past the halfway point of this race, which saw 30 cars take the green here today. And this has been a good one so far. Charlie Sandercock, the 57, has been dominating, but restarts, things happen, don't they, Rich?
Yeah, here comes Beardsley down on the inside as we've got one around. It's Alan Fink, and everybody's going to pile in.
Johnny Hill up in the air there in the middle.
Wow.
Man, this is almost everybody from about the fourth or fifth row back as a whole bunch of folks together on a bad crash down here on the front straightaway.
More than a dozen cars involved. You see Rick Miller down on the infield. We talked about his tough 2014 and his struggles continue. He is out and looking over his race car. The most recent winner on the tour, Phil Potts in the 29, is stacked up on the 76 of Brandon Ford, who was in the top 5 on that restart. And his whole left side is ripped off. There was a tractor tire rolling around, a couple cars starting to pull away.
Yeah, there's Brian Knowles getting ready to pull away there in the 7.
Yeah, Brett Belden stuck down there. A few others. I believe Alan Fink was the first car to come around. And
Jordan Peters up there at the very top. There he is.
Billy Eisley climbing out.
That last year's winner.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
He's involved in this too. So, and I think that's that's Alan Fink just getting out of his car, the driver out of Central Square, who was doing so well on the bottom. Man, we tore up a lot of good equipment here on this deal.
Well, you know, it's one of those tough deals, and you see Fink get a little contact from Ford, got the rear tires lifted up, and then into the wall on the front stretch, and that just stacks up a lot of the field. You know, a lot of cars in this field. You knew that the middle was the Hornets' nest, as we spoke of earlier. See out the back of Sandercock's car, how they came around, and here's Billy Eisley. This should be an interesting onboard.
Oh, look, he might have got tapped from the back, it looks like there. So
yeah, sometimes you hit the brakes a little, not too quickly, but you try to do the right thing, and it ends up being the wrong thing.
Well, the driver behind you might not see right away, so they were wise. Oh, look at that. Wow. That is not what you want to see in front of you. That's a hard hit right there.
Yeah, Brett Belden into the side of Alan Fink. You could see not even, really couldn't even see him as the smoke was clearing. But a lot of torn up, good quality race cars.
Well, we're going to clean this up. We've got some work to do. We'll be back with more of the Atomic Power Racing Hour.
Want to win an onboard camera? How about a brand new tablet? Just visit the Go Nuclear Late Model Series Facebook page and find out how. While you're there, check out the upcoming schedule, the new line of merchandise, and much more. Just visit facebook.com/Go Nuclear Late Model Series.
Planning a trip to Victory Lane? Let Atomic Chassis get you there. Atomic Chassis are built with a high attention to detail using superior parts from trusted manufacturers such as PPM, Winters, Bernheisel, Bilstein, All-Star Performance, Vulcan, and many more. With superior craftsmanship and materials, you know Atomic will last. And since each customer becomes a part of our family, you aren't treated like just another number. So visit AtomicChassis.com today to plan your next trip to Victory Lane.
If you want to get closer to the racing action, your chance is coming. It's the first ever Atomic Triple Crown, bringing late model sprints and sportsmen together. September 27th at Rolling Wheels Raceway. The Go Nuclear late models compete on the fast track for the first time ever, gunning for the $2,000 top prize, along with super tight sportsman action. And the Empire Super Sprints will crown their 2014 series champion. Late model sprints and sportsmen, all together for one night this fall. See you at Rolling Wheels.
Just a moment ago, this was happening. Watch the hands of Brett Belden there off the wheel to protect the fingers and thumb.
Wow, and Alan Fink, the one that he got into, you see the side of that crumpled up, potent number 28. But the racetrack is cleared, 14 laps to go. Charlie Sandercock still the leader after 17 cars involved in the lap 17 incident. You got Sean Beardsley. He had a good restart last time, getting back into the racing set of things. Not as strong on this one as Sandercock able to get in front of him as they head into turn number 1. Beardsley looks down to the bottom, but too much momentum on the top for the 57.
Yeah, and we saw that outside groove. Sandercock used it that time to get the run. And look at the margin he already has over second, third, and fourth. It's Beardsley second, Kingsley third, and McEwen in fourth as Corey Earl watches back from fifth.
How about the Zeke McEwen blue and white 97 looks down to the inside now for third on A.J. Kingsley, started back in the 12th position. And again, he's more of an IMCA style modified regular. They call it the Canadian mods up at the Brighton Speedway. He's been experimenting a little bit more with the late model, and here he is up in front of these late model regulars like Corey Earl, a driver that always runs well with him at the Brighton Speedway. Up on the top of the racetrack, Dale Caswell and Greg Bellier. They're intermingled in a battle for, I believe that is for the 6th position off of turn number 2.
Yeah, and those Canadian IMCA modifieds are a nice mix between the two because they get the bigger tires like the late models have and the extra body work, so it really is a nice stepping stone in between as we watch Earl pick up another spot. Look at him go on the outside, and he's going to go right to the inside of Kingsley.
Impressive to see Corey Earl, the winner at the Brockville Speedway in the October Fall Shootout Show last year, but that was a very locked-down, rubber-down racetrack. This is showing his talents, though, on the bottom of the speedway for a driver that usually runs Brighton Speedway. It's a tiny little third-mile racetrack. Put it up on the cushion. That's not the case here. He's got the 3rd spot taken away.
Boy, Sean Beardsley, I have a feeling he's going to see that 11 on the inside of him real soon, as there you see 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. McEwen now back in 5th, and there's the 25 of Greg Bellier as there goes Corey Earl.
Yeah, finding that groove on the inside. We saw the top of turn number 2 work a little bit earlier in the feature. Maybe any good that was left up there is gone away, and it's been kind of scrubbed out of that groove. Corey Earl making it stick on the inside of the racetrack, and boy, he's got to be happy right now with his results. But the problem is 9 to go.
Yeah.
Probably needs a yellow to reel in Charlie Sandercock.
Yeah, it's a lonely feeling when you're out there and you see that leader way out in front of you like that, and you're kind of calculating in your mind, doing the math. Can I get him? Dale Caswell, he's got other things in his mind as he's sitting in 7th, trying to move up a couple spots and get closer to the top 5.
Just hasn't been the night for Caswell. You know, ran, what did he run? 3rd in his qualifying heat race, started back in 10th. Still runs in 7th, but just not what we were expecting out of the 2-time and defending series champion.
Yeah, and of course he's running his uncle's number in colors this year with the number 88, so you know he wants to get that to the front as we watch the battle for 3rd, almost 3 wide for a moment. Greg Bellier, I think, maybe the fastest of this bunch as he's trying to find a way by the 2 guys that are racing each other here for position number 3.
Yeah, Bellier started in 9th and really didn't do anything for most of the first half of the race, but now has found himself, as you said, in that top 5, and Beardsley's car maybe just a little tight right now or loose. He's trying to catch the back end as you see it step out again in turn number 3 and 4, and now they're 3 wide for the 4th position.
Yeah, anytime we see his car push, it's always right in the middle of the corner. He's okay going in as they go 3 wide, and Bellier trying to go through the middle, get 2 spots here on this deal.
And he might be able to do it. Again, it might take a moment here as Charlie Sandercock continues to pull away out in front of the field. But Bellier sticks it down to the bottom of the speedway and is up into position number 4. And now we'll set his sights on A.J. Kingsley, and you see the 25 of Bellier running that blue nose piece. It kind of looks out of sort. The reason is he got into that accident in hot laps that we showed earlier with Phil Potts and Jason Knowles, and actually A.J. Kingsley loaned him those elephant ears, that nose piece. So you're going to see him closing in on the guy that he borrowed the piece from.
He's going to take that piece back at some point later, too. Yeah, but there's a lot of people had some trouble earlier in the hot laps. There's our race leader. No trouble for Charlie Sandercock. He's going to have 3 to go when he comes around this time. And no, that's not second place. That's a lap car right there in between. Where is second place? There's Corey Earl right there. So big margin.
And here we go back to 3rd as Bellier, you spoke about it earlier, might have the quickest car on the racetrack. You got the similar nose pieces that are in place.
That's right.
And down on the bottom goes Bellier as they're trying to battle onto a podium position.
And you might be sitting there going, well, why did he load him that? That is the way that racers are pretty much in any division. Nobody wants to win a race by running out of parts.
I can't tell you how many times Greg Bellier has been the one on the giving end. So,
yes.
You give it and you're able to reap the benefits on a night like this. He's up into the 3rd position, and now you have 3 Canadians, all from about the same area, out in front of this field, including Belleville, Ontario's Charlie Sandercock with the race lead on the final lap.
And now that's why they call it CanAm Speedway, guys. It's a little bit of everything right here. Charlie Sandercock down the backstretch. No, he's not cruising. He knows he's got 1 more quarter to go, and he's going to get the victory here if he can get through it.
Off of turn number 4, about to pick up his 10th win of the year, his 2nd on the tour, and his 1st ever in his number 57, Charlie Sandercock claims the double checkered flag.
And by a large margin, there was Corey Earl just going across the line there. 3rd place, there's Greg Bellier. He needed some laps and maybe a caution. A.J. Kingsley and Zeke McEwen round out the top 5. Beardsley with his pushing car in the corner ends up fading a little bit to position number 6.
So a good race for a lot of drivers, but nobody in the same zip code, area code, whatever you want to call it, as Charlie Sandercock.
We'll be back with more from CanAm with the Go Nuclear Late Models. Charlie Sandercock went out tonight and made it clear why he is the hottest driver on the Go Nuclear Late Model Tour right now, as the Canadian dominated the 30-lap feature here at the CanAm SummerSlam for his 10th win of 2014. Let's go down trackside as Paul Small is caught up with the man of the hour.
So Charlie Sandercock, 4th win of the season here at the Nasty Track of the North, and a dominant performance as well.
We're just got to thank all my crew. We worked hard to make. We really wanted to get this win here. We run weekly here at CanAm, and we've been following the series, and it really feels nice to actually legitimately get a win in our own cars on the Go Nuclear series. So good job to all the team that helped me out today to get down here and get the car ready for what it was tonight.
And it looked like all the brakes fell your way because you were starting to get into heavy traffic when that caution flew.
Yeah, actually, I kind of liked the traffic because we could kind of move through traffic pretty well. I didn't know how the other guys were getting through traffic, and everyone was kind of wide open all over the place, so it was kind of fun coming through the back, and I didn't mind the lap traffic, so car could go anywhere.
All right, that's Charlie Sandercock, winner of tonight's SUNY Canton CanAm SummerSlam for the Go Nuclear Late Model Series here in Lafargeville.
Boy, you can tell Rich, he was out of breath after getting out of that car. Let's take a look at how he got to victory lane.
Well, his car was good from the start, and like you said, these guys are pedaling it out there. He had it stuck on the bottom of the racetrack, especially in early going, able to get by Sean Beardsley, who had that random push in his 46 for too much of the event. Beardsley was good, but we're going to see it here as they go into turn number 3, that he could run back to the top, and then the car would just slide the nose a little bit. Got to past halfway, and then we had the big one.
Boy, and we haven't really had one of these on this series yet when you get right down to it, but 17 cars in this one, a lot of torn up cars. Look at this view from Brett Belden.
Oh, and I keep watching the hands where he goes up and knows that he doesn't want his hand on the steering wheel for that one. When they got back underway, Sean Beardsley took one look down to the bottom, and Sandercock was too good. The race went caution-free from there, and the 57 would pull away, but the battle for second was a good one.
Sure was.
Here's Corey Earl getting by A.J. Kingsley and then setting his sights on the 46 of Beardsley.
He would find his way by Beardsley as well. Corey Earl ended up being very fast in the late stages of this race, and for a guy who needed a good run, it was good to see him get one.
But Sandercock was definitely the class of the field.
Let's go down to Paul, who's caught up with Corey Earl.
Corey, rough start to the season, but this kind of smooths things out a little bit.
Yeah, the last couple of weeks have definitely been turning around for us. We went back to regroup at our home track of Brighton about 4 weeks ago, pulled a couple thirds, and then on the Canada Day Championships picked up the win. So this is, we seem to have some momentum rolling and have this new car figured out, and things are definitely turning our way more.
Well, when you saw that 57 jump out in front and walk away, you were probably thinking, oh, darn it.
Charlie's always tough competition, and I saw him get out there, and by the time I managed to fight my way through traffic, he had, I think, better part of a straightaway lead. And at that point, it's hard to tell whether you're gaining or losing. So I'm not sure whether I was making ground or losing ground on Charlie, but he was way out there by the time I got free.
That's exactly how it goes. Is he getting bigger? Is he smaller? I don't know, but Corey Earl still a strong run, finishing in the number 2 spot. There's A.J. Kingsley, Zeke McEwen. We were talking about him, top 5 for him.
Yeah, that's a strong run for a guy that's not been around this tour for very long. Dustin Waters had his early issues, got back up to 7th. That's a pretty good run for the driver from Portville that has had some ups and downs this season.
Phil Potts in the number 9 position. He actually came back from that crash. That's right, he was down in the infield.
He was backed up on the 76 of Brandon Ford, so after that restart was able to get through the field a little bit. All these drivers were able to finish, but the drivers on this page, 17 to 24, now you start seeing some names like Alan Fink and Brandon Ford that were unable to continue. Some of the other ones that fell a few laps down, some of the drivers that it was nice to see them here and be able to get into the pack.
And here's some more guys that were involved in that crash. There's Brett Belden. Of course, we had that look out the front of his race car. Oh, what a tough one for Jason Knowles. Paul has caught up with our 3rd place finisher.
With 3rd place finisher Greg Bellier, and we talked with Corey about the miserable start to his season. This is a nice turnaround for you to finish 3rd.
Yeah, we've struggled this year. We're on our 2nd motor. We've been upside down. We've had a little bit of a struggle this year. We haven't been using this car much, but it's going to become our favorite here shortly. Every time it's out, it's fast. Over at Cornwall, we were running, getting close to the front, and we blew a motor because we popped a hole in the radiator. Here tonight, we were back probably around 12th, 14th, and got back up to 3rd. So, I mean, this car always works good.
And I got to ask you about the big one that happened down there at the end of the front stretch, because it looked like you were right in the center of it all.
You know, I really didn't see much. I hang out with Chubb Frank, and he always is on me like, watch ahead of you and watch for parts of cars that aren't pointing the right direction. And I seen some sparks fly up against the wall. and I knew there was trouble, and he always is telling me don't watch the crash because you'll get in it. So I was just looking for holes, and when you get through those deals, it's nothing but luck, honestly. I mean, it's just one of those things that we were lucky enough to pick the right lane. I don't know how we got through it. We managed to sneak through with no damage, and it was a good escape. And sitting on the back stretch, we were sitting 7th, and I'm like, well, let's start racing and see if we can get to the front. And I was able to go right through the middle like I tend to do a lot, and we were in pretty good shape there. I don't think we had anything for the 57 or the 11, but I'll take home a third after today.
Greg Bellier was lucky and good to come away with the podium finish tonight at CanAm.
I like that line, don't you? Don't watch the crash or you'll be in it. And it certainly worked for him. There's the point standing. Sandercock extends his lead with the win here tonight.
The second place in the standings is the defending champion Dale Caswell. Still hasn't hit his stride yet. We'll see if he does in some of the upcoming events.
Want to see us? September 27th, Rolling Wheels Raceway is where we will be next. What a crazy night it was here at CanAm.